Welcome to Solo Journeys podcast, where every journey begins with a single step. I'm your host, Sasha, and today I'm joined by personal development coach Suzie, who shares a powerful formula to help you navigate moments when you're feeling stuck, overwhelmed, or simply searching for direction. Welcome, Suzie. So, could you introduce yourself, please?
I'm originally an American, born in the New York State. My family moved here when I was 5, here to Switzerland when I was 5, and then I left here when I was 19 and came back here in 2006 when I was 50. It's only 20 years ago that I started, or 21 years ago that I started with the coaching. And I feel, and I have always felt, that personal development is really what the individual needs.
My favorite traditional question: what is your favorite solo moment?
Well, ever since we met, I've been thinking about that. And I realized that it's really always early morning. I don't like to talk first thing in the morning. I like to be alone. It's not that I don't think, it's not that my brain isn't awake. That is my best time if I have something to think about, or it's also my time for inspiration, where I get the messages, whatever, how I feel good, that's part of it. And that's where personal development comes in. I think that's the answer to everything. How people treat themselves, how they live, what they do for themselves.
Talking about personal development, I'm a type of person who reflects a lot and tend to draw back and think I should have done things differently. I should have done that and this. Basically, everything I should have done differently. For example, this happened a lot after my divorce. I also see this tendency in work situations. I often think not only that I should have done things differently, but I also kind of expect others also have done things differently. Expectation towards myself, but also to others in the past situations. I don't know how healthy this should.
Take responsibility and do things ourselves. But when I hear the word should, if you were a coaching client, I would there are no shoulds. I strongly believe, now being 70 this year, we do things when we can, and that we have to do the things that we should do earlier. We don't do them because we're involved in other stuff. You did the best for who you were then, et cetera, et cetera. And then there's expectations, what we expect others they should know. Well, why should they know that? How would they know that unless we tell them? And when we tell them, it doesn't mean they hear us, right? To me, it all boils back down to my responsibility as an individual to take care of my life, and nobody else is going to take care of it for me. For example, when we moved here in 1961, I was 5 years old. My mother used to say to my father, "When are we going home?" And my father said, "You are home." So it's kind of like under that thing of wherever you hang your hat is your home. To me, that means always making the best of what is. My experience and my belief is that and also this is now backed by neuroscience. So that's why I'm saying it's backed by neuroscience, is to raise your awareness to there's an issue and being aware of the issue. The hardest part, to get to the point where you can admit to yourself that there's a problem. But once you've reached that, then the next part, and I use this for coaching too, is the motivation. People have to be motivated to make a change, which is to remind oneself why we're doing this. Then come the action steps. What do I have to do?
So the first step is to get conscious about the issue. And what would be the next step once it's identified?
You reframe it. So let's say if the negative thought is, give me an example.
I try to think of a real-time one. For example, I am searching for a next career opportunity at the moment, and historically, I noticed that it takes me a long time. So it looks like I have formed a belief that it is a long process for me.
Right? So reframing that, what it will take me a long time, is also, from a coaching point of view, what I call a limiting belief. The positive opposite of it will take a long time. It might not. You don't know. but you're treating it is as if it's reality. You really don't know. So reframing it is just whatever works for you. The positive opposite is it will not take a long time.
I see where you're going, but how can I integrate it now?
Okay, so it will not take a long time to work it down. Whenever the stress kicks in, oh, it'll take a long time. It'll take a long time to have it written down and posted somewhere or have a physical reminder, leather bands that I'm wearing right now for something different. You know, in my case, I want to laugh. I want to laugh more. That's part of the integration. And knowing that you don't know when you feel that there's stress kicking in, you believe it'll take a long time. In the moment when you need to grab yourself and say, well, I don't actually know.
Reframed, it would sound, I find the next career opportunity with ease.
There you go. That's what would work for you. Because this goes back to neuroscience and how a change happens. It takes repetition, it takes work, it takes a process. People believe that it's a flick of a switch, you know, they can flick a switch in their brain. Oh, I read something, therefore. But it doesn't work that way. But I also believe in the coaching aspect where it's, you know, we can stay stuck in the past, which is really not relevant anymore. Or you can move forward. What do I have to do now? What do I have to do now? You know, what makes me happy? What do I need? What do I like? What's right for me? That we all have an intuition that speaks. We know our soul knows what's right for us. But we need to give it time and respect. It will speak. And so that's what I feel is very, very important, to give it some time to let the soul speak. And for the soul to speak, it needs peace and quiet. It can't do that in when, you know, at work, and that's where, for example, for me, my mornings are good. I know what's right for me in the morning. Remember that we're human beings, not human doings. Absolutely nothing. Let it all, so what I would say is let it sink in, see what stays with you, and what comes up. Sasha, define what means doing nothing to you.
That's a good one. Doing nothing for me. I don't know. I cannot imagine that. Even if I go to the forest for a walk, I'm still doing something, right?
Yeah, but you're not doing, I agree. I agree. You're not doing, if you're just walking and taking in the nature and invigorating yourself, that's, you're recharging.
It takes me long to find a job. In that context, doing nothing would be
Creating some space. And after what we've talked about today, it's about knowing that you can reframe. It's going to take me a long time. Then it's about what do you need to do in order to reframe that now.
and give it space.
Give it space. Yep. And what do you have to do to give it space? Maybe that is just walking in the woods.
It's interesting because I get so many great ideas and solutions when I walk in the woods.
The doing would be applying for jobs and looking
Yes,
on LinkedIn.
like crazy chicken without a head running.
You know, one can sit and just breathe, or one can just sit and read, or no, reading is doing something.
So first we become aware about a certain issue, let's say. What we do next step, we reframe it. Simultaneously, we can already give it a space, ideas and inspiration to come in, feed in your strategy towards your new reframed belief. And then with this new reframed idea, we give it a space, we understand a little bit better what direction and how we can solve the problem or how we can go about this issue. We start to act, but we act differently because we gave this reframed idea a space, and then we act accordingly, which is different to how you would do it in a different state, normal state, let's say.
Now, also, what's very important is that everything you've just talked about, takes time.
How long?
According to neuroscience, practice and repetition, it's about rewiring the brain, can take 30 days.
I've learned recently that it can even take longer, up to 180 days.
Who knows? If somebody wants to stop smoking, sometimes they can do that overnight if they have the right motivation. It's individual again. Know that you can, accepting that you can, that it's your responsibility. That's the place to start. There's the shoulds, there's the expectations, there's assumptions, there's limiting beliefs that can be reframed. There's what's to do, there's taking one's power back from the brain. There's so many different topics, and they all require some time and some focus and awareness.
And we want everything now and as fast as possible.
Good luck with that. So I think one has to know now when we're expecting something to happen quickly. It might not. We might be ready for it to happen quickly. We might not be. It's a crazy, crazy world right now. Focus on what you can influence. Is that one is thinking and putting all the energy into other people, what's going on.
We have these programs in the head, and obviously there is a way to reprogram ourselves. It's good news, actually.
There is a way to reprogram, but we have to want it and we have to work at it. I believe it's really knowing what we as an individual need and want and doing that and following through. And that requires setting boundaries, but being comfortable with the boundary, setting the boundary. That's hard. It's easier to say no or set a boundary, but it's difficult. It's more difficult to be comfortable with and worrying about what they think, or being okay with what's right for me. We are responsible for ourselves. Yeah. Do you know when I first moved here and I was still healing from this broken heart, and I decided to do some Nordic walking in the mornings. And I was walking and I was walking and I was like in my head, blah, 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 and then I saw a bumper sticker on a car, which is very unusual in Switzerland to see a bumper sticker. And I'm sure I'd seen this car many, many times, but I was so busy in my head that the bumper sticker that up until that point, I hadn't seen it. This point, I saw it, and it was, don't believe everything you think. And I thought, wow, that's so true. I'm completely lost in my head with my thoughts and my negativity and my whatever it was, that I'm not actually enjoying taking in each and every step that I'm taking, the nature, that I'm in the fresh air, that I'm able to do this.
Don't believe everything you think. It's another powerful thought. I would really like to discover it further. Recently I started to think about my life as a book. Who is writing it, actually? Who is the main hero when this book is about me, but my thoughts are constantly somewhere out there? So this perspective actually helps me to bring focus back to myself. And also I noticed I feel more in charge of my life, which is another topic. Maybe we can tune in the upcoming episodes. Thank you, Suzie, for this insightful talk and also sharing your personal moments and stories. For me, this is simply gold.
Thank you.